trying out some whispery stuff again because I am in a super chill mood today, and this will probably be a very short video. It's a little position analysis. So we have this position. It's from a game that I just played, and I want to invite you all to delve into this position with me and see if you can find the winning idea. So, when we have to grasp a position, what's the first thing that we always do? We look at the pawns. Now, I was playing black, so let's look at the black pawns first. We have this island here, and if you don't know, this is called an island because it's connected. So this pawn can be protected, and this pawn can be protected, and this pawn can be protected by another pawn. So this island right here is separated from the other island over here by this canal. This, maybe let's call this the Nile. The Nile right here. The open file, or maybe we call it the Nile. Okay, that's super silly. Well, so what kind of a role are these pawns playing? Well, let's analyze this by itself after we look at these guys right here. What are their role in the game? Well, it should be quite obvious that they are mainly protecting the king, right? They are standing as a shield in front of the king, and you can click here if you want to know more about how to use your pawns to protect a castled king. For now, let's say that the primary purpose of these pawns, wow, can you hear I have no pop filter? The primary purpose of these pawns, I have to turn my head a little bit away from the microphone when I say these P sounds, because my pop filter is oh, somebody's writing me, I'm sorry about that. It's just, this video was kind of just a spur of the moment kind of thing, so I didn't prepare like I usually do. Alright, I hope that wasn't too annoying for you. Okay, they are not contributing very much to my control of the balls, these pawns. This one, however, is clamping down deep in the white territory, and it is stopping this pawn in its tracks. So this pawn is really good. It's sort of holding him back. He wants to get his pieces flowing, but if you look at this queen, it's sort of confined to the Nile because it cannot access this diagonal here. And this rook kind of looks stupid, actually, because it's just staring into the neck of this small pawn here. So this is a super valuable pawn for me. Okay, how about this one? Now, you might have heard about some Petsa from Baku named Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov is the anglicized version of his name. You might have heard of him. He knew a little bit about chess, and that is to say, with the possible exception of Bobby Fischer, he is the best player to ever play the game. And he said that a pawn in proximity to your opponent's king can be worth as much as a piece. And this pawn, it looks like it's a little bit weak, maybe, but it's very close. It's very close to my opponent's king here. Alright. So, you should take note of this little guy. In a way, the whole motif, the whole point of this video is this guy and why he is good. Lastly, we have this guy, and he's the only pawn that's not really doing anything constructive at all. I mean, if you took that pawn off the board, would it make a huge difference? Only in that I would be down in material and that my opponent might have a long-term plan to trade material into a better endgame, of course. Yeah. But in itself, right now, in the, should we say, tactical situation, it's not doing that much. No. Alright, so let's compare these pawns to my opponent's pawns. He has these guys. Well, they are also protecting the king. And His Majesty is the most important piece on the chessboard. He really is. Some people, especially when they are starting out with chess, they kind of get too attached to this idea of material and getting a lot of pieces, but in the words of a guy named Nigel Short, a very controversial but funny English grandmaster who once challenged the mighty Kasparov and reached the finals for the chess world championship and got completely destroyed, as almost everybody else who ever played Kasparov. But that's another story. In his words, I'm sorry for swearing. I hope you can take a little bit of swearing, because that is the quote. He said once, well, enough of all this positional bullshit. Checkmate ends the game. And it does. And I tend to think about it like this, that when the game is over, you can't take the pieces with you. Does that make sense? You might capture all these pieces from your opponent, but so what? They all go back in the same box. Yeah. Alright. But let's look at these pawns. We'll make them yellow. Alright. So what's up? They are also protecting the king. But notice a small difference. My king is castled to the king's side, and my opponent's king, he is on the queen's side. And he hasn't made that little security step over here. So he is a bit more exposed. So actually, these pawns are symmetrical to these pawns. Okay, I'm super sorry about that. Really, I am taking the sound of this now. I'm really super sorry. I hope you can forgive me, guys. Alright. Where were we? We were discussing the pawns. Now, why does this matter? Well, when we get to figuring out the tactical motif that ends this game, you'll know why this matters. In many ways, chess is a game about small nuances. And one small nuance in this game is that the kings are not completely symmetrical, even though their castle, the bones that make up the walls of their castle, is symmetrical. Alright. Next pawn is this guy. And let's contrast him with this guy that we analyzed earlier. Now it's quite clear when you compare these two that this guy is strong and this guy is weak. Also notice that this guy, he is isolated. In many ways, pawns are like human beings. They don't like to be isolated. It makes them weak. And this guy, there's no pawns that can ever protect him. And he's backward, so at some point in the game he could become a target. Also, he is, as we discussed, in the way of this rook. So, should we just get rid of all these arrows, maybe? Drew way too many arrows. But okay, maybe that's all these arrows could be seen as some indication, maybe, that chess is not a simple game. In some ways it is, but in some ways it surely is not. Alright. So, this is a positional weakness, could be a target, and it is just in the way of my opponent's pieces, making his attack harder to develop than mine, because I have more board control because of this pawn. You can see I control the center of the board more, and I also have this guy. Then there's the third island, this one. And in the future, if these guys leave, this guy right here would like to go here and then here and then be exchanged here freeing this pawn up so that the attack could develop like that. And then these two rooks would like to come over here, like this, and make some crushing checkmating attack. But given the pawn structure that we have analyzed, it should be clear that this will take some time to develop. And when you contrast the speed with which we can build our attacks, then it also should be clear that probably black will be able to get there first. And if I checkmate your king, you don't get a chance to checkmate me afterwards. Alright. I hope that this sort of analysis we just did has given you some sort of insight into how you can understand or perceive the value of the different pieces by analyzing the so-called pawn structure. Alright, so far so good. Now let's get rid of all these arrows and let's go from a abstract to a concrete analysis of the chessboard. Just removing these arrows one at a time, occasionally randomly drawing new ones. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I drew too many arrows, guys. Okay, all the arrows are gone now. Maybe we should also just clear our minds by clearing all these colors, because sometimes in chess you can get bogged down in the abstract and then you will lose sight of the concrete. And chess is a concrete game. Checkmate ends the game. All of this positional analysis is meant to guide your eyes. It is meant to give you an intuitive idea of where to look for tactics. Because chess is 99% tactics, as Teichmann said. Alright. Maybe we should look over here. Doesn't the pawn structure suggest that there might be some tactic here? Doesn't it suggest that maybe, just maybe, black could have some sort of quick attack? Now, maybe you want to pause the video and see if you can find an idea to win this game very convincingly. 5, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Alright, I'll show you the move. It's a sacrifice. It is rook takes a3. Yeah. So maybe it will make complete sense to you. Or maybe it will seem like a very weird idea to give up the rook. But what kind of answer could he have to this move? Obviously threatening checkmate here. Well, the obvious move is to recapture, which is what he did. It is actually better to just move the king and accept that you now have a gaping hole in your castle, and that you are down a pawn, and that you have a very bad position. He was ambitious and took, and this allows me to finish the game quite quickly. So the obvious move is to take with a check from the queen, like this. There's only one legal move, and here comes the kicker. Can you see this? Yeah. Throughout history, many kings have fallen because they underestimated the power of the people, for the small man, the pawn. And yeah, now obviously the queen is threatened. Also, this would be checkmate. So there is one move to cover this square, which is to go here. Now we obviously do not want to trade queens. If we do, then probably we are losing because we gave up a full rook. But we can get out of the attack without trading with tempo. So we can go here, check. Crucially, it is check. And this is one of the things that I was thinking about when I was trying to see if this tactic with rook takes the sacrifice worked. And I thought, okay, I will open the game up, I will open the king up more specifically, allowing me to move around with the checks, giving me time to do exactly what I want. Now he went here, which, to be honest, is a little weird, because, yeah, well, what do you think is the move? Maybe you want to pause the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's this check. And to be honest, I would have played this move anyway. Let's say that he have, if we go back, that he had played here, which is the only other move that doesn't lead to immediate checkmate. I still play here because this is still winning. But the way he did it here, now it's with a check. So he only has one move. He resigned at this point. He should have resigned maybe earlier, but of course he wanted to check if there were some hidden tricks or something that he could use to defend. So the king has to go here. Only legal move, and check. Only one legal move. And now you could take, of course, but I would probably do this instead, because it looks a little better, I think. Alright, so I think maybe if I could ask you guys to give me some feedback on this sort of format, sort of analyzing one position with some tactical motif and just the whole sort of idea of the video. And please don't scorn me too much for like the noise from my phone. I know that was super stupid of me, but I mean like the general idea of a video like this. If it's something you like, or maybe you have ideas for improvement, or whatever, or if you maybe prefer my other kind of videos. Regardless, I will thank you for watching, and I hope that you will be back for the next video, and that you will have a nice day or a nice night of sleep or whatever you are doing right now. And I hope that you will be happy and you will treat other people really nicely, and that you will be treated really nicely. Love you all.